FBC Firebreak is totally decent. It's got potential with all that weird and wonderful Remedy style you'd expect, especially when set in the world of Control. But it's going to take some serious final playtime to truly see it for what it is. As someone who's played decades of on-release preview builds, I would stress this Firebreak hands-on felt like a taste, but not a real bite of what the final release will hopefully show when fully online this June. I played around 2 hours worth with Jack Frags and Fightin' Cowboy. The build was from sometime around early April. And because our time was limited, the in-game experience gain was accelerated. This allowed us to be able to get upgrades faster and try a few things. But even then, because it's a 3-player co-op shooter, there was only so much we could realistically get a feel for. You need to feel that earned power and progression, especially in an online genre like this. The moments when things gelled as a team were the most memorable. Otherwise, it just sort of felt like an overwhelming, monster-filled sprint to the elevator to finish the job and stay alive. Let's break down a few things that stood out. Firstly, Remedy has stressed it wants the game to feel approachable for quick play, and the first few pieces of jobs, as they're called, went fast, like 5 minutes fast, then 10 minutes. It seemed intended to ease you in and incentivize the team to move on. Things start to extend as you get deeper into the jobs. After we upped the difficulty and stakes a bit, the runs became 15 minutes or more. Since you gain XP regardless of death or failed jobs, you can tick away progress on your own schedule. Overall, I'm fine with this formula. I just need to feel the hook. What else stood out? FBC Firebreak emphasizes facing hordes of demons clawing at you, making movement and survival difficult. At least in these 2 hours, I didn't have as much time to use my revolver as I thought I would have. This could have simply been the result of the game's ongoing balance. Remedy's communication director admitted guns were weak in these sessions. From my point of view, the revolver just needed to be upgraded by playing, but it certainly felt like more of a backup weapon. In Control, by comparison, I really enjoyed issuing precision headshots into floating hiss monsters. But in this preview, I felt I needed to completely crutch on my shock-powered jackhammer, or the electrokinetic charge impactor as it's called. It's one of 3 main abilities or tools from the Crisis kits, making it effectively your class. So, you're going to get quickly overwhelmed. What you realize in your early game, weakly powered state is that you have to work together. I was focusing on shocking and stunning the crowds. Fightin' Cowboy was hosing them down with the crank-operated fluidic ejector, and Jack was repairing things like the showers with his huge wrench. Unsurprisingly, those 3 Crisis kits are intended to work together. Jack's wrench could have also been used to stagger enemies with powerful swings, but he was rightly focused on keeping us moving. Early on at least, you'll need to constantly have the area's showers up, so you can hop in, heal up, and even rinse off stuff like radiation, or cool down from the heat. There's a lot of nuance in status effects in Firebreak. If you didn't fix the showers completely, you'd be getting blasted with icy cold water, which would indeed slow you down for a bit. Again, it's all about the teamwork. In theory, you can play off microphone reasonably well once you understand what's going on. There's even a basic ping system to aid with this. But how it feels if you're not talking to each other, that's one of my biggest questions. I played a ton of Back 4 Blood in recent years, for example, and there's just no replacement for working with a team to get something done. That said, there's also no replacement for how satisfying things are when you work well as a team. These bizarro world teamwork mechanics are what makes the game interesting. So it's a good thing it's not just a ton of mindless shooting. It makes it feel much more tactical. Regardless, the gameplay loop is definitely there. It's all about learning the ability of those tools, how they work together, then upgrading everything from the tools themselves to grenades, revolvers, shotguns, SMGs, special item abilities, super abilities, and you guessed it, tons of perks. Some quick perk examples I spotted: add water status effects to bullets, fix stuff faster, more resistance to status effects, heal faster. You get the idea. To get these upgraded, you'll be using what are effectively skill points that you gather called lost assets or research samples. Again, I'm reminded we really need to see and feel this progression. You'll be able to create your own builds in addition to upgrading your tools, weapons, and grenades. I used the Shock Stick Crisis Kit, and with that, I was able to grab 2 more highly useful tool-specific abilities. First, the Boombox item, which you have to unlock. I was able to plant it on the floor amongst the hordes, charge it with my Shock Stick impactor, which powered it up to play music and attract enemies. After a short time, it would explode. Obviously, this was clutch for controlling crowds, drawing them away from needed pathways, or just to concentrate damage. The grenades were also very useful to toss into those crowds and change the balance of things. But be aware, there is friendly fire that you need to manage around. I never found friendly damage annoying, so at least for now, I'm down for the additional strategic needs. Anyway, I spent most of my time stunning hiss monsters and trying to thin the hordes. Popping headshots with my revolver was fun, but that was really only useful for more threatening enemies or moments in between. Another Crisis Kit ability is its Altered Augment, effectively your super. For my shock kit, that was a garden gnome that summons a massive lightning storm. The wrench kit comes with a piggy bank augment. After you attach it, it can be swung around into enemies, which breaks it apart. That will then damage wider crowds as it paranaturally reforms back together. The splash kit augment was the teapot. Once attached, you can fire superheated globules that ignite enemies. And much like my boombox, the wrench and splash kits have their own item abilities. The wrench kit has a swivel turret that auto-targets enemies, while the splash kit has an item that I wonder how we'd live without. And I mean that literally. It's a healing humidifier that sprays the area with healing water. Abilities are on a cooldown, of course, so working closely together to use all this stuff is where the magic will hopefully come together. So look, there's a lot more to see in terms of judging FBC Firebreak. I remain excited to see what Remedy does because I like the worlds they create. Weird is good, and FBC Firebreak is, if nothing else, weird. Nothing stands out as bad ideas or poor direction, but it feels like it needs some pacing and balance. And what that feels like on the mid and high end of builds is going to matter a lot as well. At launch, there will be 3 crisis kits and 5 full jobs to play. We only played 3 jobs here, and Remedy stresses they'll be adding 2 more jobs for free in 2025, even more in 2026. Or I'd speculate they'll add a few new crisis kits as well. And since I haven't detailed it thus far, let me give you a few details on what you're doing in these jobs. Get out of the elevator, fight for your life, run. Okay, now it's time to load the weird shuttle with radioactive leech pearls. Yeah, it's an escort mission. This is where you make decisions if you want to split up roles or try to nuke a wave of enemies before moving on. You even have to push the cart. What else? In the hotfix job, this place is burning up. You have to fix some giant fans, some power generators, and you guessed it, run. Stay alive and stay cool until you can exit the back of the elevator. Eventually, you'll fight a huge sticky note boss, but unfortunately, my team didn't get a chance to do that. There's more to do than we saw in these brief hours, and 2 more jobs we haven't seen at all yet, so we'll have to wait and see on whatever surprises those may have in store. FBC Firebreak is a live service dabble for Remedy. The battle passes are called requisitions, which I can't show you because the UI is being reworked. There is a free pass included, but there's also a separately purchasable classified version that has a set of premium cosmetics, things like armor sets, sprays, and weapon skins. Remedy says these classified pass items have no impact on gameplay. Given the base game is $40 and the deluxe edition is $50, I'm guessing these will be the industry standard of about $10. This is another huge question. How will it feel to look powerful and show off your experience in FBC Firebreak? And will we have yet another game that only puts the really cool stuff in the paid passes and deluxe pre-orders? Suffice it to say, you shouldn't only look awesome if you paid the extra $10 for a classified pass. You should just have more awesome things to choose from. If you spend a ton of your time or skill playing the base game, you should be able to show that off and not feel basic. Hopefully, the core game has a handful of awesome gun skins, armor pieces, and sprays to flaunt. With no in-game look at how cool gun skins or other gear may look, that's another big wait and see. But Remedy did disclose the first premium classified requisition will have 36 unlockable cosmetics, which you can do in whatever order you want. And once you have multiple requisitions, or passes, you'll be able to work on those simultaneously as you choose. It wasn't a focus of this hands-on preview, but I can tell you it felt completely flat going to look at any of the outfit changes you can make. I mean, hey, they look cool enough, but it's just a bunch of bulky, colorful firefighter gear. Remedy has so much visual style, but will we see it pay off in the cosmetics you'll earn? Remedy doesn't want Firebreak to be a heavy grind. I hope that's true. I'm not looking to feel pressure to spend 20 or 40 hours per week just to get a few new perks, weapon upgrades, or cosmetic skins while the season draws out. If the game is fun at its core, that's all that initially matters. What the end game may be or how that retains a player base, it's important, but the point is I am exhausted of games that prioritize hours played over just the core fun of the game. More specifically, I don't want my revolver to suck for 15 hours, only to finally have some fun with it once I'm getting burnt out. Too many live service games are firstly designed around playtime and not fun time. That's my first hands-on experience with FBC Firebreak. Let me know if it helped you out. I'm Friend Mirabelle III, in case you're still wondering. Catch me live streaming Firebreak once it comes out, and if you want more videos like this from me, you know what to do. Share it, like it, drop a comment, and let me know your thoughts so far. Are you excited for the game? And what would it take to get you excited? Thanks, gamers, and good luck with your mini grinds.
I fixed the shot. Because I had sticky notes all over me.